I got Theo Von. I almost said Leo. I got Theo Von in the house. Boom. I think you remember me saying this.
Bust.
To me, one of the most original comics working today. Saying a lot.
I haven't heard a bad thing about you yet, man. I'm still trying to dig up some dirt.
He's a beast.
Oh, I got a lot of.
I haven't heard a bad thing yet. We have the same publicist.
We do?
We do, Rob.
Rob Greenwald.
Yeah, he's the man.
Rob's great, man. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Well, the first time because I knew you from Road Rules, but I don't watch that show, so I had a judgment on you when you were younger.
Oh yeah.
I was like, he's in Road Rules. I don't pay attention to anybody.
Yeah.
And I was like, whatever, Theo Von, this, that, and the other thing. I don't, nice
thought
guy.
I was a D,
okay.
huh?
And then I saw you do stand up about 5, 6, 7 years ago. I was like, it was so refreshing because it's so rare when I see somebody and I go, oh, that guy's completely unique.
And you're pretty critical too. You're pretty critical.
I am because
is he critical?
He's super critical.
Not in a bad way.
No, not in a bad way. But he'll be like, he'll say, Alec has some stuff to work on, or there's talent, but he has to get some work done.
Right.
And when we first brought you up, this is a while ago.
Yeah.
Brian was like, yeah, good. I mean, he's legit, man. Super
Well, I
talented.
appreciate it,
I was like,
man.
it's
Appreciate
rare.
that, Brian.
Well, it's rare to be legit in a way. It's rare. It's really difficult to be original. I guess that's the best way to put it.
These days, especially, I mean, you're kind of an endangered species yourself in a way. You know, you're kind
Call
of
him
like
a fossil.
Yeah, he's kind of a fossil. He's kind of like
Muscular.
like the last fucking, harp falcon, if that was an even animal.
That harp falcon. Of course, it was an animal.
It's gotta
It
have
is
something.
now.
Harp Falcon? I
I'm the
love
last-
that nickname for the kid.
They were giant falcons with a trailer hitch for a beak.
So you guys, so the difference between you guys, so you're like the funny guy and you're the fighter.
Well, yeah, but I'm scrappy. I'll fucking get it.
Oh,
I'll get it.
definitely.
I'll get
Brian's
in
more
under
the
him.
fighter, I'd
I'll get
say.
in under him. I work his ribs.
He's the one who starts
Brian's more the
shit.
fighter, yeah.
I work
Yeah,
his
you'll
ribs.
fucking take somebody's eye out.
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
Scrappy, man.
I grab his heart. I pull his heart out while it's still beating, and then put it back in his body
Oh, I
and rush
love
him to
that,
the
dude.
emergency room.
In Mexico, people pay for that down there. People go down there for like those illegal surgeries.
Good money, too.
All those organ harvesting.
You can get your legs switched down there, somebody said.
They're in New Orleans, what I hear.
Yeah, and New Orleans. So you guys just got back from there. I want to hear about that.
Yeah, we were there. We had fun.
Yeah.
We had fun.
But it doesn't
hung out
sound
with a
like
couple
it.
swamp rats, swamp lizards.
there's some stuff going on down there. I was saying that, in New Orleans, it's you never, when somebody gives you directions, you don't know if they're sending you to your death. You go down, sounds like they're up to something. You go all the way down there, you make a right over there, and don't you worry about that guy with the club foot. He's got red hair, he's real tall. Don't listen to the thing he say. He real grabby now. He's going to grab you a little bit. He's going to feel you up a little bit. You just keep walking on down there.
Yeah,
Just
people
ignore the dogs.
will give directions by smell too, like drive until you smell shrimp, and then take a left, go about a mile. You're gonna smell somebody dead. That had nothing to do with us, son. Okay, that's Mr. Ernie, and you don't know nothing, son.
Just keep on going.
That's
Yeah.
Mr. Ernie.
Keep on driving till it sounds like people aren't educated, and then pull in right there. We'll be right out.
Then you there.
Yeah. Don't honk either. Don't honk.
Don't honk. Don't you dare honk.
You honk, you wake the demons. You open a portal. You open a portal to hell down there. It's a magical place, man. You can be in New Orleans and you're like, I can't believe I'm in the United States.
Oh, dude, yeah, I've had many. I mean, I remember my first night ever really going out in New Orleans. We went to a Green Day concert, and I used to work with this little outfit out of, because I'm from a small town called Covington, about 40 miles away.
Tell us about the alumni of Covington.
Covington's a small town. I mean, you could jerk off out a bus window and hit somebody you knew, like that
Really?
kind of, yeah.
It's
kind of place.
tiny. Like, what are we talking about? Like a
You
couple
could jerk
thousand?
Oh, yeah, well, originally it had a couple thousand. Might have a few more now because people have been, doing sex and everything.
Doing sex.
But at the
Doing that
time,
sex
when
thing.
I was young, I mean, I remember I got on a school bus one day, and the man didn't even take us to school. He just drove us around, and
Fuck off.
swear to God, and then just drove us back home eventually.
What's wrong with him?
He didn't say anything either.
Probably drunk.
And when at a certain point, you don't ask.
He likes to sound. He likes to.
on for the ride.
No,
Yeah.
he
He
like.
just took. Everyone got on board, dressed for school, and he just drove
he does
around
like-
in
Wow.
circles.
He
took
wasn't a
us
bus driver. He
around,
just
yeah.
liked the sound of children playing. He likes the sound of all that ruckus, young
is wrong with you?
voices ruckus. Let me get my hand down my pants so you kids make a ruckus back there. I'm just gonna drive around until I satisfy myself and drop y'all.
So
Lee Harvey
Yeah.
Oswald went to your middle school.
Lee Harvey Oswald went to our middle school, man, and for a while there was alleged that it was called the Young Gunners, the basketball team back in the day, but this was
Gotta switch that
way
up.
before me.
Yeah.
I mean, this was probably 20, 30 years before.
Yeah.
And I didn't think Lee Harvey was guilty, actually, until I went to Dallas, went on a tour of actually what he did.
Yep, so did
and
I.
now
Get
I
the
believe.
evidence.
Me
Yeah.
too. I saw it.
Yeah.
I went.
Yeah.
That's an easy shot.
Yeah.
From,
Really?
The shot is straight down though. Like it's not. Like
I mean, it's an easy shot for Nick Van Exel. It's not an easy shot for fucking.
This is I'm not. That's true. I'm not. That's
Tim
right.
Kennedy, it's an easy shot.
Yeah, I'm not exactly. I've shot a couple deer, but I will say that it's really close, and you'd point the gun straight down. That's how you'd hit him, because I mean, the shot was straight down.
Theories, right? He didn't do all this shit.
Yeah.
But then the problem was Lee Harvey then went and killed 2 cops in the neighborhood right afterwards that had just walked up to him to question him. So
I didn't
at
know
that
that.
point, yeah, that's where it really
Obviously guilty.
Yeah, obviously guilty, because you at least
Of course.
you don't immediately shoot.
I didn't
cop.
know that.
Yeah. And that's what I realized. I
That
went to
would do
the boarding house where he used to sleep, and I sat on his old bed.
So then you stop representing him.
Yeah, so at that point, I'm kind of
give up on him.
Yeah, I've distanced myself a little bit from like kind of being a championing him, and that
Can't really fly that flag anymore.
I no longer
that's
have a
been about 7
tattoo.
months
I got
now.
rid of my Lee Harvey Oswald tattoo.
That was 7 months ago.
That was 7 months ago.
Yeah. But I mean, I had a nice time down there, and I went to the boarding house and everything, and they treat you well, and then they take you. But he didn't do his wife really well, and he was seeing some women on the side in the same neighborhood. He literally had his own sleeping room around the corner from his house where he kept
he's
his
a
wife
player.
and kids.
He's
He was
a communist
baller.
pimp.
So he was communist and out there on the streets, So
Wow.
like there was a lot going on there. But yeah, I grew up. They had a man one time that man just drove us around, and I don't know what his.
They had a
I like
man.
this guy.
But at a while, you didn't ask him questions. After a while,
You got on board.
Yeah, you just sat there. I mean, for one, you started to realize, okay, we're not going to school because the sun would get hotter. You're just still sitting there in the
Yeah.
seat. And it's like, oh, this
About
feels
1
like
o'clock now.
warm temperatures.
Yeah.
Yes, about 1 o'clock. You're getting hungry. People are passing a sandwich around. But you don't
Sack
ask.
lunches.
Yeah, you don't ask, dude.
That's your education.
But the school bus is where I learned everything. I feel like. Do you guys ever feel like that?
Hell yeah.
I didn't take a school bus. I was driven by a chauffeur. Here's the thing, guys.
The thing about the school bus is it's like the
Were you really?
Yeah, rich kid.
No, but I grew up overseas though, and so we didn't have organized school like buses. Your parents
walked?
were responsible for getting you to school. I didn't have a bus stop.
Right.
So when you grew up
Like
in
the Jungle Book kind of.
well, when you live in Pakistan
Yeah.
in the 70s, when you live in India, when you live in Greece, when you live in Saudi Arabia, when you live in Lebanon,
For sure.
it's not like there's an American school system. So you go
Right.
to international schools, everybody's from everywhere, and English is the common language, but you go. And typically, I went to French schools in Lebanon, but you get there how you can get there.
But
There's
Theo,
no school bus.
you were on the regular yellow bus. You weren't on that short bus, right?
No, I was
You
on the
didn't
short
want to
bus.
be on the short bus.
Well, sometimes the short bus, something would happen with the long bus. And
Yeah.
I just send the short bus,
I
and
would
you were
walk.
like, "What?"
I'm like, I ain't doing it. I'll walk.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to take the heat for getting off the short
But then
bus.
what's even shadier is the kid who's walking to school at freaking 10 a.m.
I got to do it though. That's how big my ego was back then.
Did you walk? Well, you were in
Hell yeah,
Denver,
I
so it was cold. You were in the heat.
Yeah.
that's
we
a
were
big
you
difference.
were in the heat, and they had snakes by the road. You had to be
You had
careful
the
out
big
there.
old rats.
Oh yeah, they had the nutrias out there. I actually used to do it. I had a deal where I remember selling. I got caught up with this outfit where we were tattooing guinea pigs and selling them after Green Day concerts, man.
Hold
selling
on.
them outside of concerts.
You would shave them and then tattoo them?
Yeah, these dudes
What
would
would you
shave them and
tattoo 'em
tattoo them.
on?
$25. They would sell them, and because people was coming out of there on ecstasies, and they wanted
Ecstasies.
warm animal. $30, $25. You give them an animal and a
Hold on,
bag. and
warm
they-
animal?
Fucking
For what?
genius for
Yeah.
eating, petting,
Yeah, for
squeezing,
friendship,
sleeping,
dude.
fucking.
It's 2 a.m. You're out of raving. You've been out raving.
For friendship. People buy fucking guinea pigs for friendship.
Yeah, well, what do you think most people buy them
I
for?
thought maybe put up their asses or something on
No, not a
ecstasy.
guinea pig.
Maybe.
Nobody's putting a guinea pig up their ass.
Yeah,
not
you
in
pervert.
America.
You fucking pervert.
For friendship? Who the fuck's like, goddamn, I'm like, is that a guinea pig tattoo with Green Day on it? I'll take two, man.
Most
Oh,
of America.
It's kind of genius because what you just said is that when you're done raving, you might want a warm animal. You want a warm animal.
Well, some people, if you don't have somebody and you get out of the rave and you're on the drugs and everybody's out
On the
there,
drugs.
you're not gonna. What are you gonna get? You gonna just lay there by yourself with your hands?
Yes! I ain't behind two fucking
your
tattooed
hands.
guinea pigs who are
No.
shaved.
What, you gonna brush?
Creep. You probably have like a Gatorade or something. Don't do all of that. You gotta have somebody there with you.
You're just gonna drag your fingertips across the palms of your hands?
Yeah, like this
Huh?
over and over
Now, don't
again.
be weird.
When you could have a tattooed warm animal in your hands.
Hey, don't be weird by tattoo warm animal shaved.
The fuck would they tattoo on the guinea pig?
Just something basic, like a
Narland?
star or like a they had like this Marilyn Manson type of hat. They used to put like a top hat kind of thing, or just something
Some
that
weird
they had 3 or
shit,
4
bro.
things, almost like a you know those Christmas cookie maker things.
Yeah.
Almost something like that, like basic.
But
shapes.
the poor little guinea pig must have been traumatized because that's needles on its skin. And he's like, I don't want to be jumped into your biker gang.
Dude, if you believe that guinea pigs have that much intuition and feeling. I mean, they're the fucking bottom of the pig chain. They don't even make meat out of
You
them.
just want a
It's
companion.
the bottom of the pig chain.
Dude, I
they
want
don't even make
I
meat
want
out
a
of
best friend who's a tattooed guinea pig.
Oh, dude, I remember being out there selling something after let me think about what it was. It might have been who sings that song? Do you wanna die?
Do you wanna die? I know what you're talking about.
I promise you I will
you
treat
know?
you well.
I know what song.
I remember being outside. Oh, Toadies, maybe it was. Is that the Toadies? I remember being outside of their concert,
voice.
and I was out there, slinging bags, helping get rid of some of the animals because they would tip you out. It wasn't a bad outfit, if you were associated with it. You could make $80 in a night.
It's a guinea pig mafia.
And hamsters. I mean, they had a variety.
God damn,
But,
I like this.
Hover
And I
around.
remember this. The girl would write names. She would just name them, and she'd write a name on the bag. And I remember she wrote some type of Latin name, and somebody got offended that the one he bought was Mexican or Puerto Rican. He got
Who's selling me
offended.
this goddamn Puerto Rican guinea pig?
I didn't ask for a guinea pig named Jose, you son of a bitch.
I want a fucking white guinea pig named Frank.
Give me a
Give me
goddamn
Jose.
Frank is even too Italian. I want something like Ted. Teddy.
Mark.
You got one? Hey, fuck you, man. You got one of them guinea pigs named Teddy.
Hey, fuck you, man. You got a Dave in there or something?
I want this Jose guinea pig.
Who the fuck gave me this black guinea pig named Tyrone?
Yeah, well, they didn't do black. I don't think because you couldn't. Something about the hair on them was tough or something. I'm gonna have to ask somebody.
You guys need that. You guys need that whiting,
He's
son.
texting. Hey, you dealt with. There was a lot of racism in good old where you came from, wasn't there? The black and white relationship is interesting.
I feel like it's still there,
South.
right, B?
It's different, yeah. Yeah, well, it's just different. It's like people still don't. They never really had a plan for everybody to meet and like get together and how to know each other. Like what amazes me in like education, they don't teach you how to get along with anybody. Like they teach you how to spell. Like I don't give a fuck if fucking Latreldwell can spell. I want to know how can Latreldwell and I relate to each other.
sure.
True, man.
Like where's that class?
It's
Like I
very
remember the
true.
first time we had a Mexican dude ever come to our school. They actually had a group in our town called Whites Against Mexicans, right? But we didn't have no Mexicans. So we just had whites. So it was kind of a lopsided group. But they had their basic agendas, whatever, probably pretty much hatred and building fires or whatever. But
hatred and fires.
they had this boy that came to our school during sex ed. I remember he came in the classroom named Nicolas. And nobody had ever seen a Mexican kid in our town or whatever,
Wow.
And I remember he held up his hand during sex ed, and he's like, "Hey, Mr. Blackwell." He's like, "What does pop that cherry mean, Holmes?" Like that was the first question any of us ever heard a Mexican kid talk in our life, right?
He sounded like a human being. What
And
a
we're
surprise.
like, yeah, he's out of it. This guy's wild,
guy-
And we didn't even know what he was talking about, And so then everybody kind of like, like gravitated to learn about him. And then he started telling people he was a rapper. And then he wrote a T-shirt called Nicholas the Rapper. He wrote on a white T-shirt with a marker, but he wrote raper on accident. He forgot a P, and then they expelled him from school for
Makes sense. Can't have that.
possibly
You know
doing
what's
sex
funny
crimes.
about Mexicans? You're
Sex
not
crimes.
bullying. I feel like if there's one group you're not going to bully for long, it's Mexicans.
Oh,
you're not,
yeah.
I don't give a shit if he's one dude. You bully like the Mexicans I know. There's something about that culture where he's just going to finally go. He's going to stand there right in front of you and go, "All right, we're going to
I
bang."
think it depends.
We're
Where,
gonna
I think it
fucking
depends
bang.
where you're at. Because my school is mainly African American kids, and there's a few white kids and then Mexicans. Everyone got bullied though.
Yeah.
It wasn't a race thing.
No.
Everyone got bullied.
Yeah, I felt like everybody got bullied.
Everyone.
Somehow.
Everyone.
I mean, how hard? I mean, like, yeah, everybody got bullied in some way. Like, even if you're like maybe if you were like a kid who couldn't read well, like when you had to read in front of the class, like, geez,
See,
just
I feel like
feeling everybody
you
just
got
like, dude.
But I feel like that's the way you
Yeah.
get. That's the way you get kind of ready for the real world. Like, people with this anti-bullying thing. Yeah, I don't want to see people get tortured and bullied and
It's
stuff.
different
but,
now, B. It's different because of social media.
Yeah.
Because all right, let's say
can't
let's say
escape it.
Theo's bullying me in school, right? I go home, it's whatever, I forget about it. Maybe the next day I have to deal with it. Now kids go home, think about it. You're on your phone all the time. So they go home, they're still getting it, and now it's even worse.
Yeah.
Kids are ganging up on
Now
it on
kids are
social
commenting, sharing, liking it.
making all sorts of shit.
Imagine, yes, there's a video out there of somebody who's making you blow him, and then it only gets 11 likes. That would have to be the worst too if you're getting bullied somehow, and then it doesn't get a lot of likes.
It doesn't get a lot of likes.
Come on, man.
Damn it.
Because then it's like, do you say take the video down, or you got
to share that shit?
Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous. How about this?
Likes are weird because even when I like with Instagram, I never pay attention to that stuff. But I do find myself sometimes going, "Whoa, I got 3,000 likes on this." Like you can't help as a human being but to gauge how much you're liked when you do one thing versus another.
I think social media is good in a lot of ways, and in some ways it's always weird to me how another grown man or a fan, like if you follow the Fighting Kid or Theo or Brian or myself, if you get on there to hate, I don't understand it. Because your phone,
cowards.
You've chosen to hit follow.
You coward.
Right.
Yeah, and then
coward.
you get on there and you'll talk shit.
Yeah,
It's
you
like,
coward.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
You bitch.
I don't have any friends like that. I've never associated with anyone like that. I've never had a friend who would do that. If Brian got on, say, Kobe Bryant's page today and was like, "Nice career, you fucking idiot," I'm like, Brian, I can't.
I would never do that.
We can't be friends anymore.
I'd say it to his face.
You would never do that.
I would never do that behind the keyboard. Like, you cunt.
It's
you
really
little
weird,
bitch.
right?
You coward.
Yeah, man.
I can't stand that.
It's like we give these. Basically, these kind of moles that are in their garage with Cheeto fingers a voice. So now that hatred, where it used to be just on blogs and chat rooms, now it goes to directly where you can engage with that celebrity.
Yeah, and then the media takes that as like news quotes, which is insane.
It's amazing.
That's insane. The media's gotten out of control, man. This is the new media right here where people can really like get an actual like earnest, person's opinion of stuff.
Well, I think also what happens is
that.
the great thing about podcasts is that your reputation, you live and die on how authentic you can be. You start lying to your fans. Even if it's comedically lying in a way. You know what I mean by that? Like, you write a joke sometimes and it'll get a laugh, but it's not really your joke. Like, it's derivative. Like,
right.
You talking about that Amy Schumer?
No, I don't know. I don't know from that. I don't think Amy does that. I don't know enough about Amy, but yeah, but I mean, sir, there are a lot of accusations. That's all. I think she just was forced to come up with so much material.
I'm actually a huge fan of hers, by the way.
But I think that even with that, like as a comic, I'm always throwing shit away because I know it'd get a laugh, but there's something about it that's derivative. It's just
right.
It's not
doesn't
real.
feel authentic.
Well, the thing is, like, if I'm a Theo fan and I go see your stand-up, I'm going to see maybe, a half an hour a set, right? Or an hour. And that's a set that you came up with. You're going to see some of Theo.
Right.
But I feel like with podcasts, like if you're a Bryan fan, you can see his stand-up and you get a sense of who he is. But on the podcast, there's no agenda. Before he came in, we were like, man, what are we going to talk to Theo about? There's literally no agenda. It's just a conversation of dudes hanging out.
Right.
So you get the real Theo, you get the real Bryan, you get the real Brendan. And that's different because if you tune into, let's say, NFL on Fox, well, you have 3 analysts who are paid from Fox,
right,
who are going to promote what Fox wants to promote. They're going to have a producer that says, highlight this player, whether you like him or not.
Talking in their ear, too.
Yeah. And they're give them a narrative in their ear.
Yeah, you have no clue. Like, you could watch, Terry Bradshaw for years, and at least with him, you get a little bit of his personality. Yeah. But sometimes you have no clue who those people are really, really like, So I think it is exciting nowadays that people can get authentic with, with personalities that they like.
Their expression. There's a lot of bullshit out there, but it like...
Oh, there's a lot of straight cat piss, man. I mean, it's like, and there's a lot of people that pander just to like celebrities and like, there's a ton of that going on.
Who are your favorite Americans?
My favorite Americans?
Brian Callen.
Yeah. I mean, the endangered.
That's a broad question.
The last of the last.
I got some.
Brian Callen. One of my favorite Americans, probably.
I was just thinking about this the other day.
Who do you like?
I don't know.
Start with you.
I
then.
like when I see people like there are a couple of people I really like. I like Alec Baldwin. I like Jon Stewart. I like Stephen Colbert. Those 3 guys, I feel put me in a good mood. Like I see them and I go, I like those guys. I like what they stand for. Yeah, there's just something about them I like a lot. I don't like Bill Maher.
Yeah.
Like Bill Maher's, I don't
like
give a
Bill.
fuck. I like him. I think he's great,
I
but I
like
don't.
Bill.
But I don't.
I
I
love
don't.
his show,
I
too.
just think he's a little bit. He's not my kind of guy. Even though I like his show and I respect what he does. He doesn't fill me with the same feeling.
Right.
It used to be Brett Favre used to be like my favorite guy because he was such a tough, gritty son of a bitch.
And then he had that sensitive teeth commercial too that came out for a couple
He
years.
did, and a Wranglers commercial.
Well,
Yeah.
and now he does the weird shave thing. It's like that little tool to get your unibrow and shit. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
It'll bum me out.
Yeah.
It's like Joe Montana doing the Skechers ad. God damn it.
Yeah.
But why do you think they do that at a certain point? Is it just money?
It's all money. Agents tell them to do it. They really don't have a hand in what's going on in the real world.
Right.
It's
So they
so-
don't know it's not.
They just don't know it's really not that cool.
I think I'm
Right.
drawn to purity too. I think I'm drawn to like one of the reasons I love Nick Diaz as a fighter is there's something feels very pure about him. Like, you know, when he wrote that letter about when he got banned and he wrote that letter, it was heartbreaking. But there's something about him that's so authentic and pure, even as a fighter. Like he's just, I don't know, man.
Did either of y'all pick him to win that? Pick
Yeah, I'm talking about-
Nate, right? His brother. You
Yeah.
guys pick his brother to win that match.
Brian did.
I did, yeah.
I did not.
Really?
Brian did. You know, Brian and Rogan did. Rogan called it early. Brian called it earliest.
I just did it off of
Size.
size, and also I knew Nate was
Skill.
a really good boxer and better on the ground.
Wow.
It just didn't make it.
Theo, let me ask you this. You talking about?
I never been. I mean, I got my ass beat a couple times when I was young.
I bet.
At school, at same school Lee Harvey went to. If you fought, then they made you hug in the hallway afterwards.
No way.
So you guys had to stand there and hug for the rest of the day. You
What?
and the dude who you fought with had to stand
That's a
there,
weird rule.
hands on shoulders,
And
and by
stare
the
at
end of
each
the day,
other?
y'all were friends. Yeah, because you were right there with
That's
each
kinda
other.
cool.
Get the fuck
You
out of
know?
here.
That's kinda cool.
That's a
You're
good
going through
idea. Because what else are you going to do? How long can you spit hate when you got your hands on the dude's shoulders? After a while, you're going to be
On
like,
the shoulders, yes.
Because you're both in a shitty situation. Like, man, bro, this sucks.
Make a
We're kind
joke
of
out
we're
it,
kind of
yeah.
in the
At least you're in
stocks.
it together.
We're in the love
'Cause
stocks.
we used to have to go to like
we're in
after,
the love
like after
stocks.
hour. Like it was like detention, but
Yeah.
after school when everyone got out for
Oh,
like an
yeah.
hour. But you have to be silent in there. And I'd be on one side of the room. The guy who I fought was on the other side of the room.
Oh.
It
And were y'all
doesn't
just
get anything
looking
done.
at hate?
Yeah, man, it gets nothing. Yours is way better.
See, well, I would
You had
beat
to
people.
stand
I would
there.
beat people down until they loved me. So that was the difference.
Yeah,
That
that's
makes
it.
sense.
Yeah.
And then you were tickling him at the end.
Then I'd be
he was the only
tickling.
fighter that tickled people at the end.
It's true.
Tickling
Bang,
them
bang, bang,
testicles.
bang. And then you'd come too with me just dry humping you and tickling you. Tickling the dickens out of you.
Yeah, at a Hampton Inn somewhere.
Ooh, these are
Only
my-
guy that brought
at
his
a
victims.
Hampton Inn.
My
that brought
little
his
love
victims
snakes
back
are
at
in your
Hampton
ribs
Inn.
right now. Little love snakes in your ribs,
Love
huh?
snakes.
I know you got a headache, but I'm giving you ticky-tickies.
Theo, let me ask you this, man. You got a crazy
You got a crazy and a crazy.
transition from doing real world road rules, all that shit, to stand up. Was this always the plan to be a stand up comedian?
I don't think so, man. I mean, my
Were
dad
you
was
the
real.
funny guy in class. What's
My
going
dad
on
was
there?
like set. My dad was 70 when I was born. My dad was an old man, so
Oh,
I
you got
just
that
grew up
grandpa
like,
dad.
yeah. So kids were always like attacking me and stuff. So you
Yeah.
had to be, and I wasn't tough at all. So I had to be like quick with my tongue, you know. So you had to be able to say things back
be
to
witty.
kids. Yeah. So that was where I feel like at least I just became like kind of like a sharp tongue. And then I mean the real world shit happened when I was 19. Like I was walking across campus. I was like depressed. I was going to University of Arizona, I think at the time. And
That's
then,
a party school.
Yeah, it was a party school. It was pretty wild.
So you were just walking by and
and they had
casting?
auditions, yeah.
Oh, really?
And so I was like, oh, I'll go into
So
this.
ASU or University of Arizona?
University of Arizona, not as fun. ASU,
The
way more
Wildcats.
party.
Yeah, ASU's the
Yeah.
party one.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you
U
were
of A
walking-
is like kind of like Tucson's weird. It's kind of
like
like
the desert.
Sacramento, but in
Yeah, yeah.
Arizona.
So you were walking across campus, then just decided to go to the casting.
Yeah, and they had auditions, and then I transferred back home as I didn't like being in Arizona, and I went back to LSU the following year and had auditions there too.
Yeah, damn.
And they just had them at 6 campuses a year, so it was just total, irony or whatever that I ended up at the next college that I went to. And so then I went through it and ended up on the show for a while, and it was awesome. First wrestling match, Mike the Miz. He's a wrestler who came out of the
Is
real
he still
world.
wrestling in WWE?
Yeah, he still wrestles.
He's
in,
still part of it?
Yeah, he was just in the Royal Rumble.
Oh, wow.
And he actually his first wrestling match ever was me and against him in some like competition that they had on the real world in a real ring and shit. That was pretty dope.
And
Did you choreograph
We
it?
draw. It was a draw.
Did
We went
he
to a
always
draw.
want to do that?
He always wanted to do it. We would be like, "You're not going to be a fucking wrestler, you weirdo." And he would be like, "What do you mean, you ninny?"
Yeah,
he was
you
always
ninny.
a character.
And he's legit.
Is he a
And we're
big
like,
guy?
dude,
He's-
just
he's
don't
like
use
big time for sure.
Yeah,
Wow.
and
He's
he
a
won the
legit-
world. He won the
Miz-
belt for a while.
Yeah, the Miz was a legit wrestler.
The
Yeah, he
Miz.
won the belt.
Yeah.
And now he does like almost like more like commentating, but he also
Yeah.
still fights.
He big timed me at a celebrity event.
No.
I'll
What do
never
you mean?
forget it.
Ugh.
I was at the Phoenix Open. We were on this like weird red carpet event. He kind of big timed me. I was
Oh.
like, oh shit, you're you're a fake wrestler. I will slap you in front of everybody. But
He'll pick you up and throw you in your head, bro.
He might.
Dude, one time I saw Evander Holyfield at the Chicago airport, right? He's sitting there, and they had one of those McDonald's restaurants there in the airport that had a little bit of a porch to it with about 6 tables, right? So you could sit there and eat. So he's sitting there, and I mean, he's eating, but literally he's shoving fries through his lips that will not even open. Like could not even open his jaw. You know, like literally like pushing him through a doggy door, you know? Just eating fries, just like moving
Pushing
them.
through a doggy
And some black girl comes running down from the Cinnabon, and she has her Cinnabon apron on, and she's like, ooh, Janet just took over for me for a second because I had to come down here and tell you I used to love to watch you wrestle. That's what she told him. Wrestle.
What did he say? Was he like, God damn it?
Because I told you something.
I don't think he said. I think he just mumbled something through the fucking potatoes.
Bro,
That's all you get from Amanda. You get
Dude,
it.
I think he was eating potatoes. We had him on this show.
Yeah.
We had him on this show.
Couldn't
And I was
understand
like,
a thing.
sir, are you snorkeling and eating potatoes and trying to talk to us?
Couldn't
Like,
understand. He was
we couldn't
probably-
understand a single
He
word.
was probably conducting.
And all he kept saying was,
conducting our podcast while you were sitting next to him.
yes. And the Cinnabon lady harassed him because all he kept saying, my mama, my mama.
Mom,
Shut the fuck up about your mom for 2 seconds.
We had 11 kids
while I
on
do
mama.
this interview.
Yeah.
Just shut the fuck up about your mom.
Dude, Mr. T's the same way. I mean, not to lump those guys together, but they're both
I've
black
had a
fighters.
conversation with him.
He's super positive, but he talks about his mother all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mother used to.
It drives me
Yeah,
nuts.
she used to. And I say, I'm gonna get out there and Jesus Christ.
Yep. I had a talk with him in Whole Foods.
Oh, did you
Oh
really?
yeah, for about 20 minutes.
Mr. D,
Well, you know, I can't.
You have the chains on?
Gotta believe. You gotta believe. Yeah. He was wearing like a fanny pack with a one piece.
You're
like
fucking right, he was.
like a one piece sweatsuit.
He's
It
a
was the
boss. He
craziest
will
shit.
beat
Like
your
pajamas.
ass in like old school attire.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
No Everlast, no nothing fancy for him.
He wears the chain
Well,
still
he
on?
bought a house in Georgia apparently, and there were like 100 oak trees on that property, and he cut every one of them down. He
Why?
cut those fuckers down
What's
because he's
wrong
like,
with
I don't want no oak trees.
Yeah.
Cut them down like it was like an environmental disaster on the scale of like when Saddam Hussein lit those oil wells on fire. It was basically people were like, what? They were oak trees like back like from 300 years ago. But
Yeah.
I think he was like, these oak trees were around when people were enslaved. Fuck these oak trees.
Yeah.
And fuck this plantation. I'm gonna change it to my specs.
I don't move
And
down
he don't
there,
like
though,
birds.
huh?
Yeah.
He don't like birds. He have a fear of birds, and he don't like a lot of birds being around.
Oh,
too.
Really?
I
so
remember
maybe
that's
the
what he
birds
told
Kind
me.
of a weird dude, huh?
I would imagine if you cut
Yeah.
down 300, 400, 500-year-old oak trees, that's what I call a sin.
Yeah. I pity the lumber.
I pity the lumber.
Hey, you fucking
That's all he
eco-terrorist.
does, huh?
I pity the lumber.
No,
yeah.
he just has some new commercial campaign for, I forget what it is.
He's a good guy, man.
Oh yeah, he's
a
great.
good person.
Yeah, he just cares. He's donated a ton of his time to like all kinds of positive stuff.
Yeah, he's a
I saw
very
him at a
good
church.
person.
Then I went and watched him that Sunday at a church. They had a ring set up, and he came out,
embarrassing.
and it was a bit
Well, he
embarrassing.
won the-
but
didn't he
he
win-
preached. He like gave a whole sermon
In the ring?
in the ring
Like,
at a church.
Jesus worked! Dove in and then popped up? Are you serious?
When Jesus went to the top belt, yeah,
Well, he won.
the top rope.
He won the toughest bouncer in America contest, right?
Yes.
That's how he got. Yeah.
That's how we got it.
Like they had him do. It's like a strongman thing where you got to run through walls and all that stuff.
You get to like
Really?
beat up a drunk. Yeah,
They don't still do that, right? You just beat up drunks?
yeah. He said you had to beat up a drunk at like an open casket.
Is that how, is that how he got famous, though?
Yeah.
That's how he
Yeah.
got noticed?
Yeah, and then they made him Clubber Lang, and he was great in the movie.
Oh, he was
How
great.
great was he?
Yeah, he was
He's
great.
a great villain and strong as shit, and
Yeah,
just
yeah, super well
he's screaming. I was like, God damn, you're good.
He told me. Well, I remember him saying I could have been an animal. That's what he told me.
I could have been an animal.
Like a legit animal, or he meant like...
And he really believes he could have been a real animal. I feel like.
Well, excuse me, sir. You batshit crazy.
I run
You're
with
back,
wolves.
You're back in church.
I run with
on
wolves,
the ring.
motherfucker.
So, Theo, when you got the gig to do Real World Road Rules, did you think it was like that was your break? Were you like, here we go?
Oh, I remember. I was seeing a girl, and we just gone back to. I was going to LSU basketball game.
Did you tell that girl, see ya?
No, she was. Well, I think she started to get the feeling of it, but I just gotten a call that like you're gonna come on this trip, and MTV was huge at the time. Like
yeah.
it was like crazy. I mean, 13 million people a week were tuning in to watch the shows. So
I was one of them.
I remember, and I remember walking into that basketball stadium that day and seeing all these people, and I was like, wow, like next year, like all these people will know me. And that like kind of blew my mind a little bit.
Yeah, for sure, relax. But yeah.
So then I went on that trip,
too.
man.
When you're a young man, you think about, I wonder what kind of girls I can get now with my
Oh
new,
yeah, I mean you were
fame.
getting laid by just some of the biggest gals in Pittsburgh at that. I mean I remember making love to women and they were jumping out of a bus window. Actually, they were lining up one time in this bus in Pittsburgh outside of some bar called Angels,
Angels.
up on the south side.
And you're having
So-
sex with just one.
So when
after
you
another?
got it,
Yeah, not well either. I'm not good at sex. Like
Not
I'm good
good.
at getting
It's not
there,
your
bro.
thing.
But I am not
You're not a finisher.
Yeah, not at all, dude. Yeah, I'll go 11.
You're not batting third or fourth.
Oh, I'll go 11 rounds of passive sex with a couple of reading breaks. But I am, yeah. No.
So you got this gig, and then once you were doing it, did you realize how big of a deal it was?
Yeah, I kind of realized how big of a deal it was. I mean, it was just kind of fun, and you got to compete. And I'd always been like, I think a bit afraid to play like football in high school because like if I got hurt, like we didn't have no money, so it was like if you got hurt, you know, you were just gonna be that guy whose fucking shirt didn't fit right for the rest of his life. You know, like if you broke your fucking clavicle or whatever.
You'd be the awkward guy.
Yeah, you were just gonna be that dude.
You didn't grow up with Obamacare. You didn't have health insurance.
No. We just had we just had insight from the neighbors. You know, that was our Obamacare. Yeah,
bro science.
Looks broken. Yeah, I'd tie it down.
That's
you know,
I'd tie it down.
People tying their legs to their arm and shit. I remember they made one kid a fucking cast out of cement one time. They fucking put his leg into a
legit.
Yeah, and then they had to break it with a hammer at some point of some type of, and it broke his leg in 3 places when they broke
God damn it.
the fucking cement.
Because they
So you grew up with very little money.
Yeah, a little money, man. A lot of religion around, little money.
You still go to church?
Yeah, I still go to church, man. I go to Baptist church. I like it, you know. Sometimes I feel like church has gotten kind of a bad rap, you know. They beat it down a lot. But I like it just for the ideals mostly behind it.
For sure, I get it.
But, yeah, man, so then after the reality stuff happened, but then I started wanting to do comedy. I wasn't an adult yet.
Like when you got out of it, right, because that road's going to end sometime. You see a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm a 20-year vet of real
I don't want to be
rules.
that.
I'm like, oh my God, for sure, move on, man. It's over.
Yeah,
like
4
the
years.
generation watching it has no idea who you are. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I'm a vet.
Are there guys?
The one guy,
Mark. You're talking about Mark,
he's like,
yeah.
I'm back, everybody. It's like, dude, move on.
There are guys like that who've been on
There's
it.
a guy on there, Mark, from season 1. They're on like season 25, and he's like, I'm back. I'm going to win it this time. It's like, bro, fucking move on.
What?
Yes.
He's like, I'm back, and kids are like texting their dad, and Mark's back.
Yeah, man.
You know? The
generation don't know who he is.
Damn.
It's pretty
So
gnarly.
when were you already thinking like how you're gonna parlay this into something?
No,
else?
and it didn't help, actually. It was really the worst transition because I got into comedy and people didn't, like for the first 4 years, people would just yell like, did you fuck Trishelle from the audience? You know, like nobody cared about.
Mad at her at all.
Yeah, nobody cared about comedy at all, though.
No one took you serious.
No one took me
'Cause they
serious.
thought you were just trying to parlay that fame into something else, right?
Yeah, and it didn't help. Like the last thing you want when you go on stage is people to know you prior for any other reason except that you want to be at a even basis with them so you can make them laugh.
For sure.
So for the first like 8 years, really even still now, like that, I just had my special come out and some like punk ass like bitch writer wrote an article about how they shouldn't let reality people do comedy, right?
Are you kidding?
And that's been 13 years since I was on
Your comedy's
reality.
great.
And this kid just brought it up.
Who's this kid write for?
He's a piece of shit, and he's a
piece of
dummy.
shit.
Doesn't
And he
matter.
doesn't know comedy.
I don't even know. I think he's like a freelance guy, but he writes a lot of stuff about comics.
So
He's
don't
a
you get- so
fucking
don't you
dummy.
give him
But he doesn't know
attention,
comedy.
Right.
To say that about your comedy, what's your special? What's the name of your
It's
special?
called No Offense.
It's on Netflix right
It's on
now.
Netflix. You can check it out. It's streaming on Netflix.
You got to watch it because you look. I mean, I'm not saying this. I don't say this about very many people, but your comedy is as good as it gets, and it's as
Appreciate
original
it,
as it
man.
gets. And you're a real comic. So this yoker, this little loser behind his keyboard,
Yeah, it's
just doesn't-
trolley type
he's just-
stuff when
He's just
people do
wrong.
that.
He's just wrong.
You know why? You know why I feel? Because if he writes,
Thanks, man.
If he writes
true.
Theo's comedies, some of the best I've ever seen, it doesn't give him any clicks. That's
Right.
the side we live in. If he puts guy from Real World is bombing and he shouldn't be up there,
Right.
that's gonna get clicks.
You-
That's the world we
Yeah.
live in. Like,
That's a good point.
People want to see a guy fail, or people want to see a guy get cut from the UFC, or people want to see a guy get in trouble for cheating on his girl. It's like, what the fuck?
The
is
bottom
wrong
line
with
is you're
society?
you're
People wanna see
undeniable.
the darkness.
Yes.
But you're undeniable, so it doesn't really matter. But I will say,
I've never heard of that guy. I'm sure I've never heard of his article. You just keep on keeping on.
You're undeniable.
thanks,
I mean,
man.
when
I
you see your
appreciate it.
comedy, I've seen you crush. I've never seen you not crush. So it doesn't matter.
Hey, you know you don't need his validation. You have a special on Netflix.
Right, I don't need his
Suck on these
validation.
balls while you write these articles in your basement.
Yeah,
There is a
that's
cool
true.
club.
While
That's true.
jacking off to
There is a
Theo's
cool
girl.
club in comedy.
See ya.
Yeah.
So when you first started comedy, it was hard to kind of shake that whole.
It was hard.
And
Yeah, and
did
it's,
you have any money in the bank from Real World Road? Or no.
no. What I did do is I bought a condo down in New Orleans with the money that I made.
Smart.
So I just put a down payment on that, and then I just had people living in it over the years. So that was a good investment that I made. But yeah, you didn't have. I remember coming out here to school, and I didn't have any money, man. You would be because reality TV at that time, you got paid minimum wage. I got paid $385 a week to be on a national television show that had to be making them tens of millions of dollars.
It's called sweatshop exploitation.
That's insane, bro.
It's true.
Viacom,
baby.
It's still not great.
Yeah.
It's still not great.
You don't get money.
No, it's still not
that
great.
First season, if like the Jersey Shore kids and the Teen Mom kids, they're making some bank, but they're like 6-7 seasons deep.
Yeah, and Teen Mom, you got to keep having kids. Like some of those kids, some of those girls are like, I'm pregnant again, and like, all right, we'll put you back on the show. Like,
I was watching that shit last night. I was like, damn, I've been through 3 divorces with this bitch and 4 kids. Like, I know this girl. We went through it together. For real.
Brendan watches that. He gets.
I watch
into
all
it.
that
obvious,
stuff.
bro.
Yeah, I
He's
watch all that stuff.
Yeah.
The new Real World. I don't know if you're probably not into it.
I literally have not seen one in probably about 10 years, and people still ask me about it. I just don't have I don't have a lot of insight. I do remember the guys like Mark that would like, I'm back, and I do remember being
back
like,
again, bitch.
I do not want to be one of those kids. Like I want to
hear
live
you.
out whatever my
but
dreams
I'm
are.
kind of that similar that way with I was on Ultimate Fighter. I don't watch it.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, because I go
Sam
through it.
Hogan, was he on that with you?
No, so Sam was season 1 with Rashad. I was season 10.
Sam-
so season 1 was the first heavyweights, and then I was the last.
He almost won. He went all the
Oh
way.
wow, that's
I was a
awesome,
finalist,
dude.
He lost to Big Country to.
Oh, Big Country Brian Reeves? Oh, Big
no.
Country the fighter, the white guy?
Yeah, Roy Nelson.
Yeah.
But Roy Nelson had a lot of experience. I mean,
It doesn't matter. Not where I'm taking the story, but
No, that's awesome, though.
yeah. But so the reason I don't watch Ultimate Fighter because it's kind of there. I'm like, I'm just kind of over it because I know the in and out. So I think I watch the Real World because it's completely different from the world I'm in.
Than
You
your
know what I'm saying?
experience, yeah.
So like this season of the Real World, they're in Vegas, standard. But there's this girl on there's this young girl. You would go nuts. She's from the South. I forget what part of the South. Racist, religious as fuck.
Oh, wow.
There's 2 black people in the house, and then there's a gay guy, and she just openly is like, yeah, if me thinking of gays having sex just makes me want to throw up. And he's like, dude, I'm gay. You can't say shit like that.
Yeah, or you can't throw. Yeah, you have to at least go
That's
outside
actually-
and throw up.
The entire
That kind of-
house has turned on her.
But that kind of debate is good for opening people's minds, including hers.
That's why they had the chance to. I can't believe we're talking about this. They had a chance to kick her off the show, but even though the
they kept
black
her?
kids were like, let's keep her just to fucking educate.
Yeah,
that's dope.
I mean that's the way you change minds. I mean the idea that fuck you and I'm going to marginalize you. Okay, my problem with the politically correct crowd and just really generally when I see these debates and this gender issues is you got Hollywood all fucking talking to themselves and everybody's like, yeah, we believe more in equality and fairness and we're better than those people. Instead of looking at it's a complicated issue. Like, for example, and I know Springsteen boycotted, I think, North Carolina because North Carolina wants people to use restrooms according to the gender on their birth certificate.
Which is fine.
It's fine. But also I think there is an issue where if you say, okay, if a guy puts on a wig and says, I'm a woman, I should be legally allowed to use a woman's locker room or a woman's bathroom.
But if
I
I'm
can
a
understand how
if
women.
I'm a transgender, I've gone through the process. I should be able to use the women's.
I
bathroom.
agree with that because what else would they do? Like if you get
Right,
an
you can't just be
operation
peeing outside of the room.
Yeah, if you're not going to let that person use the bathroom, then I don't know what kind of society we're living in. So I sympathize with that 100%. I feel though honestly. And it's a difficult thing, but we're getting into these weird conversations now that we live in this strange society, which is if somebody is a transgender, that means they had the operation. Okay. What about somebody who's in the middle of the operation but still has a penis and has breasts? Are they allowed to use a woman's bathroom because they're wearing makeup and a wig and
why not
follow that?
Why not just have a unisexual bathroom? Like
Because
men, women.
I agree.
Because we don't have the infrastructure for that. The problem
Not
is that,
everywhere.
Yeah.
Not yet because it's an issue
a
we haven't
new
had to
thing.
face.
Okay, but
really.
then you're talking about the same. So it'd be the same laws like with handicap. Like if you have a public bathroom, you need to have a handicap
we have
stall,
to do.
right?
All restaurants have to.
So now we have to have
Gyms.
a third bathroom, which for a very very small portion of the population, which by the way is expensive for that business. I'm just presenting
in
challenges.
small towns, one dude is gonna have like 30 bathrooms
That's
around
right.
town just for himself.
Or men and women can use an extra bathroom, but you're talking about an extra bathroom now, which is a lot of
could do
money,
a family
lot of money, a lot of
bathroom.
resources and stuff like that. And all I'm saying is that you now follow this thread for a second. So I feel like a woman inside. This is my reasoning. I'm going to put a wig on and I'm going to go into the women's locker room. And every woman there goes, that's a man in my locker room. I have my daughter here and stuff. As a guy, I don't know if that's the truth. as a guy, I don't know if I feel safe about some dude who's saying he might feel like a woman, right?
I get that, but
that's all.
The issue is if you do feel like you're a woman, you feel like that inside, and you're dressed as a woman, you go in the man's bathroom, it's way more dangerous, I think.
I guess,
I think
it's tough. It's tough.
a conversation you have to have.
Right.
You have to come up with some solution, because you can't say, I don't give a fuck if you feel like a woman, you dress like a woman, you're not a woman. Well, that's not fair, because I feel like a woman inside.
Right.
And also, to me, I don't give a fuck what religion, they don't choose that.
I agree with you.
Choose up for that
Right.
scrutiny.
I agree with it. But just keep in mind, though, we are living in a society, and I'm just extrapolating in general. We're living in a society where one's feelings are what are considered, like one's individual feelings and sensibilities take precedence over almost everything else. So I'm just talking about keeping the trains running on time. I'm talking about when you have a business.
Right. What are you going to do?
Are you, as a business now, being forced to have unisex bathrooms?
There's no room with a lot of businesses.
Personally, I don't want to go to the bathroom with a woman in the room. Like, I don't want to take a shit when there's a girl in the bathroom.
And what if a
I don't think
man's
women
trying to
do
hit
either.
on you? I had a man's tried to hit on me in the bathrooms a couple times.
That's always going to happen.
Did you give the sign? Did you tap your foot?
No, I just stood
You gotta
there.
be careful. There's certain signs. Did you know this? There's certain signs. If you go to a truck stop, you can get a lot lizard sucking your dick.
Wow.
If you slap your foot like 3 or 4 times, he lets you know.
It's four.
Dude, who's going to truck stops?
It's this guy. This guy right here.
He's
Me and Bryan on the road.
He's driving to the edge of town just to get gas, just to see what can happen.
Hey, before we get to the hotels, there's a truck stop around here where I can slap my foot 4 times.
If picking my nose at the stall is a fucking sign, then
Exactly.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a sign. You like that
I just carry a flag in there going, I'm gay.
But do you think that that's alarming? Like if a man hits on you in the men's bathroom, does that mean that there should be separate bathrooms?
No. Again, there's
Yeah,
always
like
going
how
to
do
be
you separate gays then?
There's always
Right.
going to be situations, but I do think that you separate. But see, that's a very good question. Again, you have
think
to
it's something
have a
you can just
line
say, nah.
somewhere.
Right.
Don't you? We live. People say you don't have to have any lines. Well,
I
no,
don't
we
believe
all
that.
have lines. I mean, you can't run a society. There are differences between men and women.
100%.
Typically, if you ask my daughter, if you were to ask my daughter, and I'm just telling you, hey, honey, she's 8. You got to share the same bathroom with boys. People say, well, it's socialization. Listen, girls
no, man.
separate themselves. Boys separate. They're different.
I'm not trying to
And so
blow
you
up the bathroom with a chick
Right.
in there.
Yeah.
Right.
There goes all the sexiness
Hey,
ever.
man, when you got to
Ever.
fart and you got a girl that you don't know that well in your bedroom, you fart into the towel, right?
Yeah.
You
It's
take
called
it
the
out,
silencer.
You stuff it
No,
right.
you get a pillow. It's
Do
called
they
the
have a thing
silencer.
called the silencer?
Well, I
They
just made
should.
it up now.
You guys should make one. That'd be
should
a
the silencer.
amazing gift. For
That's
you
a
guys to
great
sell.
It's
gift.
a silencer like a gun, but it's for your asshole.
Oh, let's make one. It'll come in a pouch. The
I
silencer.
could see that in a heartbeat.
Me too. That thing would sell
The
like
fighter and the
hotcakes.
kid's silencer. Dude, Theo Vaughn just gave us a great idea.
That's it,
And Theo,
yeah.
you'll be on the cover like with your thumb up going, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, I do think it's a conversation you have to have, and I think it's very tough because
I see
this
both
tiny,
sides.
tiny
I see
group
both
of,
sides.
Yes, I do too. But this tiny group of people, if you keep making these exceptions, it's going to be pretty
There's
tough.
gonna be a million bathrooms and
I
nowhere to
think
eat
so.
dinner.
It's going to be
Yeah.
tough, right?
Yeah, but like what about piss shy? Like I used to think it was like I was kind of piss shy at certain points in my life. I wish there was a special room where I could go in.
By yourself?
Yeah, or just have where
Ain't
they had
no one got
people-
time for that.
Where the stalls were about 20 feet apart.
Yeah.
You know? Basically a warehouse where you could have your own urinal against
Just
the
you
wall.
and
But
your
here's a
own?
better way. So a man feels like, let's just take an example. A man,
No, we
Bruce
get the
Jenner,
example, babe, but we can keep going if you want. Let's just keep beating it.
But no, listen.
Yeah, we get it, dude.
Bruce Jenner wants to become a woman. Okay, he wants to become a woman.
His
That's-
birth certificate and license says he's a woman now.
I know,
But he ain't going to the chop shop. That's what everybody's saying. He's not getting it all chopped out.
Yeah, well, whatever the case. So say he does. All I'm saying is that
Even if he
we
doesn't,
know,
he's still a woman.
We know that operation and that decision is going to come with a great deal of responsibility.
Yeah.
Now, the question seems to hinge on to what degree do you then want society, the vast majority of us, to what degree does society have to bend
No,
to
I get it, B. We
your
just talked
issue?
about it.
Right.
I would blow the bathroom up next Caitlyn Jenner. I've seen Bruce Jenner a million times. I'm going to blow that
just take a
bathroom
shit
up. I don't
right next
give
to
a
him?
flying fuck.
Who do you think would win in a fight out of Bruce Jenner and Caitlyn Jenner?
Caitlyn, that bitch is tough.
No,
Yeah.
Bruce is an athlete, man. Don't kid yourself. Bruce will fucking put it down. But Caitlyn Jenner right now, I bet you will give a lot of guys a fight for that.
Yeah.
Even with the estrogen running through her body.
Oh, I think estrogen is definitely that's the new test 200. I feel like
Yeah, man.
a lot of
Yeah.
people are driving to Mexico to get estrogen and bring it back.
Really?
Yeah, illegally. Yeah.
Really? No.
Yeah,
They want to
no, they're
soften
not.
things
No,
up.
they're not.
They want to soften some shit up.
No, they want to harden it up. The new estrogen, that Hillary freaking strand that's going around.
That Hillary strand, son.
Dude,
that
that
Hillary-
is.
that
Oh, bro.
Hillary
Did you?
People, that's deep. People are mixing that with Winstraw and just taking it to freaking.
She's got a deep voice. I
Taking
feel like
it
her voice
home.
got a lot deeper over the years.
aggressive and smarter.
I'm a fighter. You're like, damn, Hillary.
Goddamn, Hillary. when you, because it's different kind of celebrity when you come off those MTV shows, right? Like
Yeah.
that your demographic knows you, which is really who is gonna buy whatever you're doing. So I mean, when you got off, were you just slanging that old MTV dick or what?
Oh yeah, I mean, you got laid for a long time. It
About
made it
10 years
easy.
afterwards.
Yeah, but it also was weird because I never really developed any game.
Oh.
So
You have to.
right, but then and
Wore
when
a
that fades
real world
off,
shirt and then just got your dick out.
when that fades off, you're standing there with no game and no ability to relate to women. Like it was a really awkward time in my life when I should have probably been learning some sorts of like social type of like relationship
Dialogue
skills,
with the ladies.
and instead immediately you're just like getting tons of chicks. So it was like
Yeah, because they said to me, they were like, he's a ladies' man. I go, I haven't seen. It's not like I see. Theo
I don't bring a lot of
coming
ladies
in.
around.
No.
I don't bring a lot of my stuff's on the DL. Keep a lot of my stuff on the sly.
Yeah, you dating somebody now?
Nope, not dating anybody now.
Single.
Really?
Keeping it single. Yeah,
Yeah, keeping it single.
keeping it single.
Think you'll
man.
ever get married, have kids?
Oh, definitely, bro. I want to
You're-
have
how
kids. I
old are
want
you?
a farm. I want slaves, dude.
Okay.
Hey,
well,
man.
Not black slaves.
Hey, oh, okay,
Chill.
white, Eastern
Huh?
European, Eastern
Huh?
European.
What kind of slaves do we want?
It's
That's
gonna be a
that
tough one
South.
to answer, but I'm probably gonna go with very educated Asians who live with us and we all work together.
So that you're
Like a
gonna
big
be,
family.
you'll be a good master.
oh yeah, I mean a master, and I'm just gonna wear like a karate, like a gi.
Oh,
and
so that
everybody
kind of
else
master.
Yes. So it's a different type of slavery. It's very
Okay,
new
'cause
age.
I was confused.
It's
I was
a new
thinking
age slavery.
Southern-
No, and everybody's bedroom's gonna have windows. It's nothing.
They'll have unisex bathrooms.
Yeah, unisex bathrooms.
They'll get
I'm all-
paid.
unisex bathroom.
They'll get an allowance. They're not gonna get paid, but they will have an allowance. Like you're a slave, but you're free to leave.
Yeah, so I want that new age slavery because I think a lot of people would go into slavery if it didn't have such a bad stigma.
That's right.
So you would change the
okay.
rules up.
Yeah.
Change it up. A little
Oh
bit.
yeah. I mean,
you
I
can't
think
take a hand to the
teamwork.
face.
I'd call it teamwork.
Call it teamwork.
First of all,
It sounds like, you know what? It sounds like
Motivating.
how it sounds like Amazon, the way they work at Amazon. You read that article about how they cry at their desks? You
Why?
read that article?
Why?
So Jeff Bezos, who's the owner of Amazon, there was an article written by the New York Times. I mean, a very credible article. They interviewed a shitload of people, and they were like, "Look, there's a new sweatshop out there, and it's called the tech. It's the tech industry. You work there for a year, 2 years, and when you get fired, they'll say stuff like this: We have a friend of ours is graduating. We're so excited for him. He's going to go out there and be a rock star.
Yeah.
And they throw you a party. You got fired. And
That's hilarious.
and at Amazon, you know what Jeff Bezos says? I think it's him.
Guess
Says,
what
he said,
today
when you hit a wall, when you hit the wall, climb the wall. In other words, and people not only break down, you make a lot of money, but you are expected, you are married to your job. And that's like Google too. My friend, somebody I know is with
killing
Google.
it, though.
Dude, you kill it, but you're there 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. And don't
Yeah.
kid yourself. Oh, and your family, they're going to have to take a back seat or you're fired.
Oh, you're gonna
Yeah.
have to grind. You're gonna have to grind.
But I mean, you see, they said this girl said, everyone I knew, a man and woman, everyone I knew in my area, and it was a big area, at one point or another, cried at their desk.
wow.
at Amazon,
Yeah, they'll break you. And that's the idea. Come up with ideas. What ideas do you have now? None?
You're
You
fired.
piece of shit.
Yeah.
So it's
You
a
have-
celebration. You're fired.
just 6 hours, and then you're out in your ass. I had an acting class that used to do this. My teacher would do this. It was great. So it was a class, and I had pretty famous people in the class, and a lot of people worked. But then you'd be in a class, and sometimes he would decide, these people are lazy. When was the last time you worked? He'd shout at somebody. Excuse me? Yeah, you. No, you. When was the last time you worked? Because they do a great job, a scene or something. May, I got a job. You get paid? No. When was the last time you were paid for a job? March. March? 7 months ago? 7 months ago? Yeah, because my mom, I had to go back. Yeah, good. Listen. You're on terrorist theater. Terrorist theater was you have 6 weeks to get a paying job. If you don't, I'm kicking you out of my class.
Damn.
Forever.
That's fair though.
Forever.
See, I don't have a problem with that.
All right. Right.
Because
it was like
because in this
and people got jobs
in your business in entertainment and acting or stand up a little bit, but it's not as black and white as athletics, right?
No.
Like you either make team or you don't.
Yeah.
I can be fucking 60 in acting classes.
That's right.
Before someone goes, hey man, you're getting really old. You've been doing this for 40 years.
That's right,
You
bro.
only got one job.
Right.
So I'm not mad at this.
I'm not either. And it would be amazing because he'd go like this. He'd so go with me and watch how he'd do it. He'd go, when was the last time you worked?
Probably.
You're on Terrace Theater. And the whole class would go, oh. and then so just go, okay. Say okay.
Okay.
What do you mean okay? What does that mean? Okay. Can't teach I can't. You got to get rid of the Why are you touching your throat?
Because I won't terrace that.
But you're not being direct or see. This is the kind of shit that drives me crazy. I'll kick you out of here now. Why are you in my class?
I don't know.
That's what happens.
He's a little bit of a dick.
No.
The Terrace
No.
Theater.
Whiplash.
Dude.
Whiplash. That movie
Yeah,
Whiplash.
Dude, guess what?
J.K.
People got
Simmons.
jobs. They got jobs.
panic.
They got fucking. Or he'd do shit like this. It was great. He'd go,
You guys were
Jeffrey
paying for,
Tambor.
You guys were paying for this class?
oh yeah, no, you had to get it. You had to audition for this class. It wasn't
Yeah.
easy.
Wow.
Jeffrey Tambor, who's now on Transparent, was the greatest teacher I've ever
Yeah.
had in my life. Jeffrey
he's
Tambor
brilliant.
is a brilliant actor and the best teacher. Taught me how to act.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey would look at you and go like this. And Milton Gonzalez, too. He got it from Milton Gonzalez, who owned the school. And he would go like this to a girl. He'd go, can I ask you a question? Who are you dating? Because I think he sounds like a guy with terrible breath and treats you like shit. Does he hold the door for you?
Wait,
No.
would she talk about her dating life?
He could just tell. That dude could look at you and fucking... Jeffrey Tambor, I swear to God...
Con artist, but
No,
keep
he's not
going.
a con artist.
Yeah.
No, he's
just
not.
keep going.
No, he's not.
I'm just
He
kidding,
could
man.
read. He could read. Dude, he could read your behavior. Bro,
Dude.
fucking
he
dad.
could see the way you were walking, and he'd go, "You were in an accident."
And then you don't believe in psychics.
No, I believe
Who
in
do the
his-
same thing
His
that
ability to
read
read
people.
human behavior. He could look at you and go, "You have a limp." We go, "What?" And he goes, "What's going on with your hip? Were you in a car accident?"
somebody
No.
get caught in a trap
You
later
weren't in a
on?
car accident. Well, I was 3 years ago. What happened? Well, I was in the hospital for 6 months. Oh, well, you're still injured. He'd do that shit. He could just read you really, really well.
Jesus, like the Bone Whisperer.
Best fucking teacher I've ever had. He was
And he
fucking
still does it?
genius. Well, no, now he wins awards for that show, Transparent. He plays a woman. Plays
Oh,
a
he plays
transgender
trans-
dad.
But he doesn't know where he's pissing. That's his
He
problem.
That's the
doesn't
problem.
know where he's pissing. That's how
That's
we
the
bring it
problem,
back.
man. Should we go some current events with Evan, the body, the bear, the cub, the otter?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
What up, man?
First one we got for today. After the Tim Bradley Manny Pacquiao fight, media, of course, interviewed Floyd Mayweather, who was there, and he just completely changed the subject and just went off the rails about how he wants to get into MMA promotion.
Tim Bradley?
No, Floyd Mayweather.
Obviously,
Floyd
for
Mayweather
sure
wants to
Floyd
get
Mayweather.
into the
sorry,
MMA promotion game.
MMA. How do you feel about that, Brendan?
I mean, I like it. At least he's a guy who earned his money with his fist, and he's been in the fight game. If more fighters did stuff like this, I think it would benefit the actual fighters competing instead of a guy with two rich friends starting promotion or a guy who's never fought before starting promotion. If you have fighters who have been there, and obviously Floyd Mayweather has more money than God, that's what you need to make this, a
So how would he
competitive
do it, though?
market.
Would he start his own fight league? Or is
Just
that,
like Affliction did. But
Oh,
he
okay.
has tons more money.
so he'd start like
You
a,
have to be smart about it because, like Affliction, right? You remember those Affliction?
Yeah,
shirts all over
definitely.
this fucking war. You probably didn't. We did for
I
sure.
I might have worn one. They were
Okay.
expensive.
They were expensive, but still, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So they got famous from shirts, designs, and then they started their own promotion. But they signed like Orlovsky, Rothwell, Fedor. Everyone.
Wow.
And they put on these huge promotions. Then they went bankrupt after like 2 shows
'Cause they just did too much
It's
money.
just too much. Just start off slow, man. Get a promotion, get a foundation going.
Yeah.
But they like throw the fucking Super Bowl 2 times in a row.
Yeah.
You just can't maintain that.
Yeah.
What'd they pay Tim Sylvia? $900,000 to fight Fedor.
Yeah,
and
so-
they had Megadeth play live at their event.
Wow.
Shit was
It's
epic.
insane.
Shit was
Oh,
epic.
it was
though.
awesome.
Fireworks and shit.
People
It was
died
awesome.
at that.
Yeah.
Well, Matt Lindland might have actually.
Now you
died.
know how many
Lindland
guinea pigs you
died.
could have sold after that.
Yeah, man. But they went out of business.
Wow.
But if a guy like Floyd Mayweather, whether we're to get into it, or a guy like Conor McGregor started his own promotion in Ireland or something like that,
Or Brendan
That'd be
then
huge.
you're onto something. I'm not the guy for the job.
But yeah, you
could
got to
have.
have a business partner because if it's just
if they were smart, they'd hire Brendan.
You need a guy who's good at
Yeah.
operations.
He's so good at
you,
it.
Is he?
You need a
He's
guy.
the best marketer I've ever seen in my life.
You need a guy who's really good with the business strategy and all that. You can't just be a fighter.
You have a good mind
Right.
for business. You have a fucking.
I
you've been
do,
thinking-
but I wouldn't use it for that.
No, I know.
The fight game's too brutal, and I don't think I'd like who I'd become.
Really? Yeah, because you'd have to.
What do you see yourself becoming, man?
You're looking at it.
I like it.
Yeah. I mean, the Fire and the Kid. We
Oh,
just
it's
got done
great. Yeah,
shooting
you guys are crushing it.
3 million downloads.
We just got done shooting our TV show, and then we do live shows now. So life is good. Man.
Oh, after watching a couple episodes, man, it was by far, I think, the best thing that I have seen for me on YouTube that I've seen. Like, as far as like a show that, was like men talking about stuff.
Yeah.
Great personality,
it.
constantly moves.
It's a weird.
Couple
It's a
silly
weird.
dudes.
Really
chemistry.
great, though. I mean, just good. You guys, I don't know how you guys even, linked up, but it's awesome, man. Thank you.
neither.
It was a perfect symbiosis. Like I will say this. I don't think we ever get tired of each other. Like we can hang out. Yeah, that's a big deal. That's a big deal to say. I mean, we can hang, but we crack each other up.
Right.
And then I think sometimes you just speak the same language. Like we'll laugh at the same shit.
Right.
All the time,
We're
yeah.
basically lovers who don't have sex.
I like it.
We're married.
Which is what I want to talk to you about.
Oh
Yeah.
boy. He's a lot stronger than
Because
me.
when we're in the stall, I tapped my foot 4 times. You did nothing. It's
If
offensive.
we were in a jail cell, the fucked up thing is that it'd be very easy for you to do whatever you wanted to
I
most
just don't
men.
have the energy for it, though.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
Especially after those prison workouts, dude.
I know, bro. Unless you're sucking
He's
my
taking
dick.
He's taking me through some.
Really?
Yeah, some.
Where do you
prison
guys train
workouts.
at around here?
Box
We'll
and
train on the
Burn.
road, but we're usually at Box and Burn here.
Box and
Not
Burn's
together.
Great boxing gym.
It is?
Our buddy Tony Jeffries. Yeah.
What else you got, Ev? But that's great about Floyd Mayweather. But again, you need a heavy hitter. You need someone like fucking Amazon to jump in there and start putting shows on.
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, hit him
Yeah.
up. Jeff Bezos.
And by the way, they
Mayweather
said
Productions.
to him, they go, "Hey, you're working. You work these people so hard, they have no lives." And he goes, "Yes, they're welcome to leave at any time, though." Holy
So
shit.
cold.
It's a legit point.
He's a bad
cold.
motherfucker.
What else you got, Ev?
All right, next one we got is Bono. YouTube Bono
My favorite.
was at a U.S. Congress meeting on Capitol Hill about like global refugee crisis and ISIS and all that shit.
So-
It's weird he's up there, but yeah.
Yeah, very weird that he's up there.
Yeah.
He does a lot of work, a lot of God's
No,
work.
I get it, but
Here's what Bono had to say when they were talking about ISIS. I think comedy should be deployed. It's like you speak violence, you speak their language, but if you laugh at them when they're goose-stepping down the street, then it takes away their power. So I'm suggesting that the Senate send in Amy Schumer, Chris Rock, and Sacha Baron Cohen. Thank you.
Well, you know what ISIS
They're gonna
would-
defeat
you know
ISIS,
what ISIS
apparently.
would do if you sent them? They would run a train on Amy Schumer and then cut her face
Well,
off.
first of all, Sacha
Yeah.
Baron Cohen and
Yeah.
Amy Schumer are Jewish, so they wouldn't do too well with a bunch of Islamic fundamentalists, I would imagine.
Yeah.
and don't
ISIS
send them.
is-
Those are 2 of my favorite people in the world.
And Chris Rock is,
He's a legend.
Yeah.
And he's black.
Also,
he
They're
wouldn't
gonna
do
kill
it.
him.
Yeah,
Also,
they would
yeah.
kill him.
You
No,
can't
they-
send them an ISIS.
well, black guy.
They might let him live.
Hey, is there any way we get someone more, I don't know, knowledgeable talking to the government? I don't give a fuck about Bono's theories on ISIS.
He's probably joking around.
And he wears blue
No,
blockers.
no,
No,
He's
he's
not
dead
joking.
serious.
He has a
He's
whole
dead
thing.
serious.
He's dead serious.
He wears
thinks
blue
comedy's
blockers,
the
dude.
answer to solving the problem.
I can't
Maybe-
trust anybody that wears blue blockers, bro.
He still wears them too.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Hey,
You have
guys.
more money than God.
I'm gonna
I
have to-
walked down a red carpet next to him one time, which was pretty cool.
Oh,
actually.
that'd do it.
I
I
actually,
thought it was cheering.
love
I
him.
thought it was for me, and it was not.
I like him too. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to hear his political views.
yeah.
Though.
Agreed.
Fucking sing Bloody Sunday and shut your
Well,
fucking mouth.
I guess he's been involved in a lot of political issues with high level people for a long time. He's pretty informed.
No, I get it. But
mean-
he said to send Amy Schumer to solve
Yeah.
ISIS.
Dude,
It
he's
also
been-
hurts me that he didn't say send Brian Callen.
Yeah.
I'm pretty funny.
I know.
He's been in VIP tents in all the countries
That's
of
literally
Africa.
what happened.
bro.
yeah, he's
So he
really
knows.
giving back.
That's to be if I can be honest. When he
That's why
read
your
Amy
feelings?
Schumer, I was like, oh man, what about Brian Callen? I think I'm actually funnier than Amy. Is that sacrilege?
No, man.
But
it's great.
yeah,
You're hilarious.
She's also famous as shit. So is Chris Rock and Sacha Baron Cohen.
I know. I just feel like I'm really funny, and why not Brian Callen and Theo Vaughn?
Well, maybe he doesn't want you guys to
we would
die.
crush it.
Oh, that's
Maybe
true.
he doesn't like them and send them
Oh
to die.
shit! I didn't even think
Maybe
of that.
he's working for the other side.
Maybe he's ISIS, and that's why he wears blue blockers.
Yeah.
You know what? You might be right, brother. You
What
might
else
be
you
right.
got, Ev?
All right. Next one up is it's Kobe Bryant's final game. Long, obviously really, really good career. People are paying. Well, let's see what you guys, if we can guess ballpark what the high for a ticket to this
10
game
grand.
is.
Well, wrong.
Way too low.
I looked, and for floor seats, there was 4 tickets available because I was thinking about going, but I'm not paying this. It's $24,000 a ticket.
It's up to 28.
28 now
For 28,000.
but per seat.
Wow.
The cheapest tickets are like $800.
Can anybody sit on your lap or no?
No. For nosebleed, it's $750.
Damn. To see
Kobe's
Kobe
last
play.
game. You know, though, Kobe probably...
You guys take this away.
He probably should have been done 3 years ago when he blew out his
Yeah.
Achilles heel, and people say he knew it. It was over. This is how much of a badass this guy is. He blew his Achilles heel out, so it's a terrible injury. He can barely walk. He wouldn't let any trainers or teammates touch him. He was fouled. He walked back out on the court on his own will, made the free throws, and then went to the locker room. And they said people around him knew like he would never be like as a basketball player, especially his age. Once you do that, it's over. Yeah. And he kind of knew it. But when you think about like a guy like LeBron James was carted off the court for cramps, or a guy like Dwayne Wade, rolls his ankle and they have to carry him out on a stretcher.
Yeah.
Think about how fucking hardcore Kobe Bryant is. It's insane. Mm-hmm. He's one of the last of the dying breed. I don't think he's the last of like the tough guys in the NBA.
Yeah.
Legend. No one liked him, but legend. Yeah.
They don't make that toughness anymore.
They don't make them anymore. Now we have like these fucking Euro soccer players falling down every play and shit. That's what the NBA's turned into.
Yeah, NFL too, I feel like. It's gotten a little romantic
but
out
that's
there.
not their fault. That's the
NFL. That's
that's
the league.
Game trying
right.
to fucking save everyone's head trauma.
Turn it into ballet.
Which is weird because it's football. There's going to be
What
concussions.
is football going to do? Have you read anything about what they're going to do? They have a new helmet.
Nothing. They've never been bigger. That's the funniest thing.
Yeah.
They've never been bigger. They've never been more powerful. NFL's going, oh, you want us to change? That's cool. We're just going to keep going this way. What? We're the biggest sport. This is the biggest we've ever been. We're only getting bigger. Yeah. Oh, we're playing in China next year. Keep focusing on head trauma while we make billions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a great game. And it's part of the game.
It's a beautiful game, but there's also a dark side to it. What did everyone think was going
Same
to
with
happen
boxing.
when you
There's
run
a dark
into
side
each
of
other?
boxing.
Well, yeah.
But I'm not trying to
they're fucked
ban
over.
it.
At
But
least
a lot of these
not
guys,
fucked over.
a lot of these guys weren't
401k.
smart to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Like they should at least give them a test before, give them a test after, the same test. See, let's get a real evaluation of how bad it is.
Yeah, like Floyd Mayweather couldn't read before he got punched in the
Right.
face. And then now he gets punched in the face. He's like, I still can't read. I just can't read. God damn, you cannot read? No. How crazy is that? Can't read. I don't mean like, you can kind of read. No. Can't read. Never was taught how to read.
Wow.
Well, we got to quit trying to educate everybody. I don't think everybody wants an education.
Right.
You know?
I think people's educations are different because some people, everyone needs a foundation.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Everyone needs a foundation, so you know the history of what to give you perspective.
How the world works.
Yes, everyone needs that foundation. Most people don't have that, and some people just don't give a fuck. Like, does Billy, or let's say LeBron James, does he really need to know the history, of fucking World War II? Probably not.
No,
the kid's gonna be in the NBA.
Sure,
it's tough, man.
Yeah, it's compartmentalized.
You build focus on education.
When you build a serious skill set in one area, sometimes it's at the deficit of a lot of other things. Because
what I'd tell you, if I could go back, I wouldn't have majored in college football.
Yeah.
I would have majored in something like history or business, or I did major in business, but something that was important.
Yeah. Hey, we all do this. We all. When I go back, you ever do this? You ever do an inventory of the people that you would not have wasted your time on? Like if you could
I've
go
always
back.
been good at not wasting time.
Yeah, you're good.
I've always been really good at it. You're the worst I know.
Not me.
You're the
man.
worst I know.
I've had some situations.
Brian became best friends with the waiter who has a drug problem. He'll be like, Gary's hanging out with us, man. He just needs a friend right now. Like, I don't give a fuck.
I date girls who were gonna literally take a year out of my life.
Yeah.
Just girls that were just.
Are you the same way?
Yeah. I'm texting probably 40 people that I will never see or ever talk to again.
Yeah.
That I met years ago from around the country.
Trying to help, or why do you
I don't
do
know
it?
what I'm doing anymore. Sometimes I'm just so caught in at this point. I feel like I'm vested.
Are you the guy
I need a lot of them to die
you look for the broken?
I need a lot of them
the
to die
wounded animal. And you're trying to help it. What's your deal?
I think I just always feel I always try to be considerate. So it's like if somebody texts, you always try to text them back. So it's like at a certain point, it's like people just. Sending pictures of them and their animals. You don't even remember what they look like or who they are anymore. They've gained 40 pounds. They have a family now. And you just still communicate.
I'm the same way, bud.
Yeah.
Same fucking way.
So it's just in our hearts, man.
We have big hearts.
We're just wasting our time.
We got big pink
You say
hearts.
big hearts, I say wasting time.
We got big pink fucking.
Like a baboon's ass.
Yeah. Our hearts.
What else you got, Ev?
All right, last one
hearts
we got.
made of daffodils.
Last one that we got is a big story going around the MMA circles is that one of Conor McGregor's teammates fought a Brazilian guy in Ireland last weekend. and the guy, he got TKO'd in the 3rd round, I think, died of head injuries after.
The Brazilian or the Irish guy?
The Brazilian guy.
Fuck.
He was treated.
Is that the first death in MMA?
No.
I mean, there have been others, but there was always something that came up on, like, it was unsanctioned and he had like an undisclosed medical problem.
Right.
Everything was pretty much done by the book. Like,
what was the cause of death?
Just
brain swelling,
head trauma.
Wow.
So wait, so what? So can you?
They haven't been like specific about it.
So he fought in Ireland
Yeah.
at a sanctioned MMA fight.
Right.
He died after.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
It's
28.
crazy, but not surprising. You know, there's going to be.
See, that's surprising to me.
Really?
What? No, I mean, I can't tell you last time someone.
No,
died in a
that
sanctioned
exactly.
fight.
But I'm just saying, I'm not surprised that it's going to happen. It's bound to happen eventually. That's all I'm saying.
True.
Yeah.
It's the exception, but like
Sucks,
a
man.
boxer
That sucks.
died a couple of months ago.
Did you ever
Championship
worry you were
fight,
going to
but
die?
Never, not once. Never, not once. It didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah. Wow.
Not once.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And maybe that's why you guys are able to do that, because it doesn't
Well,
even
he
cross
fought
your
some of
mind.
the hardest hitters too. That's fucking.
Yeah, that's
But I don't think that
crazy.
because the chances of death, it's not really.
You're just gonna knock
It's not
out.
going to happen. Yeah,
Right.
it's really not going to happen.
Right.
There's no.
It's
dying.
more the
Yeah, but-
constant pounding when you get back up and you get back up. And you get back
I'd
up.
have to see this fight. What happened? Because with the boxer, what happened? It was in Australia or New Zealand, I think. But he got concussed, wobbled, 8 count, gets back up, concussed, wobbled, saved by the bell, goes back to there, concussed, wobbled, just pounding,
Jesus
pounding.
Christ.
The brain swells, and then,
Jesus.
then they die.
Hey, fucking throw in the white towel, man.
Yeah.
If you're his trainer.
They got to make them brighter white, those towels,
They
so
really
people
do.
see them.
Brighter
Sometimes people
white.
throw them in and it's a little dingy. They're like, oh, what does that mean? That
No
light-
dingy towel. You threw in a dingy towel. Gotta be
See
white.
it.
Snow White, you fuck. All right.
That's where it comes to trainers being knowledgeable.
Yeah, no doubt.
Amen, man. That's crazy, dude. Yeah, I can't believe that you never thought of that fear of dying. Like, if I see a rickety swing set, I'm like, no way. I'll never make it on and off
weird?
of that.
In everyday life, I'm always weighing pros and cons of risky stuff. Like, I'm not a risk taker.
Right.
But when it came to fighting, it never even crossed my mind.
You are the strangest.
It's true.
You're
Like
great.
our friend here was talking
You're
about how
great.
she's going to Coachella, and I was like, oh my God, people get raped. Make sure you hydrate. Bring coconut water.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Hey, man,
Yeah.
relax. I'm that guy.
I'm that
Like,
way
with my
too.
Kid, I'm going to be that way.
I'm that way too. You're cautious. I'm cautious.
super
He
cautious.
doesn't like it. Like if I say I'm going to spar boxing, he goes, "Why? Why are you doing that? Why would you do that? Why would you go get hit in the head? It's the dumbest thing in the world." It's
Yeah.
exactly what my mother would say. But you're right. You ready for a drop of knowledge?
Yeah, what do you got?
So
buddy?
I'm just gonna. It's not like I had a friend
You
who
talk
had a
about
crisis.
Caitlyn Jenner bathrooms again. I'm going to
No,
freak them
no.
Yeah.
out, bro.
No, I had a friend who had a little crisis, and I was trying to talk her off a ledge. And it was interesting because what dawned on me was she thought everything was, a disaster. And I was like, wait a minute. You're comparing yourself to the world at large. And I said,
What's
we've
her
talked
problem?
about this a little bit. And I said, she's got some health issues. And I said, but take a look at where you've come in the past month. So instead of comparing yourself to what you thought you were going to be, let's just take a step back and look at all the progress you've made in the past 2 months.
B, before you go on,
Yeah.
I'm confused. So she's sick and she's comparing herself to other people, or career-wise, she's not where she wants to be?
Both. In other words, her sickness has caused her life to be just put on hold, and she didn't know what was wrong with her for a long time, and she just found out. And I said, look, I mean, this is a difficult thing, but I said, the larger point I'm making is that it's better if you compare yourself to where you were versus where you are now. If you compare yourself, and we talk about this, if you compare yourself to a lot of people around you,
You're
that's
always going to be unsatisfied.
You're always going to be unsatisfied. But look at where you've come. Like I was thinking about the Fighter and Kid a year ago versus now. 2 years ago, did you think we were going to be where we are when we started this shit? And when you keep that in perspective, what it does is you realize you're in competition with yourself, not with anybody else. And comedy's that way too. Like for me, I never compare myself. I just don't. I don't care. I don't think of it as, well, that person's more successful or Amy Schumer. I never think about that. All I think about is, am I being as original as I can be? Am I surprising myself? Am I shocking myself? Am I doing what I'm made to do to the best of my ability?
Wow.
That's the only thing that's in my control.
Shit is
But you
deep.
have to be reminded
true.
of that. You got to be reminded. I forget that. We all forget
I woke
that.
up thinking this morning, comparing myself to other people, and just hearing you say
We
that
all
is
do it, man.
really, really, it's so poignant.
We
I
all
was
do it.
so beaten down this morning. I was just comparing myself to other people, and I wasn't thinking.
Yeah,
because
you were thinking, well, my Netflix special isn't as popular as Chris Rock's or whatever. It's not the way to go. You got to look at, first of all, the work you've done. You got to look at where you've come. Like, what were you doing and thinking about 2 years ago versus now? And as long as you're growing, as long as you keep growing, that's all that matters. It's what we talk about all the time.
Yeah, we talk about all the time. You're 100% right, B. You can't compare yourself
100%,
to others.
man.
Otherwise,
it's a great point. I needed to hear that today.
There you go.
Theo, you were on a show with Amy Schumer, right? Weren't you? Am I going crazy? You was a show with.
Yeah, we did a show called Reality Bites Back. Bert Kreischer was on there, who I know everybody.
Bert's our boy.
Bert's amazing.
Love Bert.
He's the funniest.
And
Bert
love Amy.
Kreischer.
She's great. I don't know Amy well, but
was
she's
Amy
a doll.
like? Could you tell Amy was gonna be a superstar back then? Was she always that girl? Because you can kind of tell. I feel like some people.
She's always been funny. I mean, we've been friends for a long time. I think she's funnier off stage than she is on stage. I just have always thought that she was probably one of the most intelligent women that I'd ever been around.
Really?
Yeah.
She's also really, I've always found her to be, from my limited contact with her, she's such a nice person. Like, she's a good person.
You can tell
she's
that.
captivating. Yeah, I think that she's a good person. I think that once you start to get up in the rank, things become very industry kind of.
Your heart, you're managing so many
I'll
different
tell you what's
things.
weird is, well, it's not weird. Most comedians are some of the smartest people I know, if not the smartest. But all the female comics, to stick out as a female comic, fuck, man. Wow. They'll have insane work ethic. Whitney Cummings and Eliza Schlesinger, the two hardest workers I personally know.
Yeah.
But they're also two of the smartest people I know.
Yeah.
They're smart as fuck.
Yep.
So I assume Amy Schumer's probably the same way.
Yeah, well, she's just smarter. I think she is also good at seeing like the steps beyond.
Yeah.
And she's just everybody loves her. She was friends with everyone and always has been, it seems like.
It's also hard to quantify success. Like, success is also like, it comes and goes. It's kind of like wealth.
I didn't ask you if you knew she was going to be successful. Did you know she was going to be a star like this?
Right, and I think there's a difference between that. Like, I think
there's a big difference.
You can. Like, I ask my manager sometimes, like, are we aiming to be successful or are we aiming to be a star? Like, sometimes I wonder, like, what is the aim? Sometimes, and there is a huge difference. I think some of it at a certain point is chance, because Amy and I actually have had the same manager, and Amy and I have had like a unique relationship over the years, and so I feel like she knew at a certain point that like maybe this manager's not going to get me there, or this isn't one of the keys to it. I think she always kind of. And she had to let them go, and I know that was heartbreaking, but she's in tune. But she also, I think you have to be a little cutthroat sometimes in this business. And one of the things I remember I asked her one time specifically about, if you had any advice, what would you? And this was a few years before she really hit stardom, and she just said, don't waste your time. She said, that's what she said. She said, don't waste your time.
100%. 100%.
So true.
And it's so true. If you think 2 years down the road for her would the same things have happened, it's like, don't waste your time.
Dude, my biggest problem was focus. It's my biggest problem, and this is the first time in my life where I've actually focused on one thing.
Yeah.
Which is this podcast.
Yeah.
And my stand-up, but especially this podcast, and it's
awesome.
The dividends in every way have been like, I think back to if I had just focused on one thing at a time, but I never do that. Never do that.
Well, one of the things you told me, I still remember one of the best advice you gave me was at the Westwood Brew Co. probably about 9 years ago. I asked you, and you just said, just learn everything you can. Learn as much as you can. Always be open to learning. You said if you have to, start with the Bible and just read your way forward. Learn as much as you can. That was really good advice.
I believe in that. Yes, I believe. We were talking about that.
So sometimes you can find some good advice, man. And I'm glad that I came here today, man. I needed to hear some of these things. I needed to, meet somebody who was different than me, that maybe I thought like, I'm not that into fighting and I don't know what this guy's going to be like. And maybe I was a little bit, not intimidated, but like, this guy might be different than me. No, well, I just didn't know. Yeah. But I came here
Schaub's the unicorn.
Not knowing he is.
The unicorn, man.
And I am just so happy that I came today, and I appreciate you guys
having me.
You're awesome. We appreciate you. Let's go to some fan questions.
Let's get out of here.
We got a shitload of them for you, by the way, but let's just do like.
You got to run. You
No, okay.
All right.
All right, let's run through them. First one comes from Drew Abshard. Theo, have you ever thought about doing clean material? I'm a comedian who does mostly dirty stuff, but people tell me I should try to write clean. The problem is, I don't think it's even near as funny. Any advice for this dilemma?
You're pretty clean.
I'm edgy, but I'm not vulgar. It's just hard to decide at a certain point. Once you're famous, you can kind of say whatever you want. But on the come up, it's really tough to kind of figure that out. I don't know, Brian. You might have more insight.
No, I agree. I think being vulgar seems to be a shortcut sometimes.
You play a balance beat. Like you
Yeah.
don't really cuss.
No.
If you cuss, you make it count.
You can tell I'm not.
Which is what you told me. 'Cause
Yeah.
in our live shows, I do about 10 minutes of stand up. And when I first started, I was cussing a lot, like filling gaps in with like fuck. And Brian goes, dude, if you're gonna cuss, make it count.
Right.
Make it a authoritative.
Have one fuck every 10 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I throw around the F word a lot. It's just my nature, the way that I grew up. So I would like to alter that some. But at a certain point, it's like it's hard to just change who you are.
I was going to say that's also you.
Right.
That's also you.
But I did make a point after watching some episodes to come in here today and not use any profanity. Jeez. So I think I might have. I don't know if we slipped up once, but I don't think we did.
No, not at all.
Well, I just wanted to respect the environment. It seems like you guys do a good job of not doing it.
Well, it depends.
I have to
bad.
consciously work. Like after this, we'll do UFC Tonight, which is on Big Fox. And I'll have to literally remind myself every 5 seconds not to cuss.
Right.
Literally,
He does.
cuss,
We're on
don't
Kevin
cuss,
and Bean.
don't
He's like dropping F-bombs by accident. They're like, it's great. Go ahead. Next question.
All right, next one. Does the freedom that Netflix gives writers raise the level for comedians, or does it just allow you to truly express your art?
I think they allow me to truly express my art. I mean, you don't have any commercial interruptions, so that's great. And they came back with a couple of notes, but said you don't have to change anything you don't want to. In hindsight, I wish I would have maybe gone with a couple more of their notes. But then also people have to realize that my comedy is kind of a little bit of a different style. It's kind of a tongue-in-cheek, a sarcasm. You can't take it 100% literal. But I think that they were totally allowed freedom.
How did you know when you were shooting New Orleans it was going to be for Netflix?
Yeah, I knew. Yeah, they'd
Okay.
set it up in advance, and it was.
Gotcha.
But we had fans that had never been to comedy shows before. That had never even probably been out of their house. That came out. We had one lady who thought it was like wearing LSU gear, yelling defense the whole.
Okay.
They literally had to throw her out.
Probably not the right crowd.
Defense.
Yeah.
Probably not the right crowd.
Yeah.
So if I could go back and do it in time, I wanted to do it there because my family was all there in case I never got to do it again, that they could see it and be a part of it. But I don't think that I would do it there. It's not a comedy city as much. It's a city that likes to be outdoors drinking and just, dancing with homeless people.
I also think theaters are, from the experience, and Brian can touch on it more, but when we do theaters, like we've done 900, 1,100 seats sold out, and it's not as intimate as when we do like House of Blues or like the Comedy
100%.
Store or any of these.
Yeah, it's not as
It's just
fun.
like, it's not, because I don't feel the same energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know if
No,
I'm
it's
out of my lane
very
there,
true.
but, like when we do theaters, like we have our East Coast tour coming up, and Boston's a massive theater, but New York's smaller, but sold out super fast.
Right.
Those smaller ones are so, like, I can see everyone, their engagement, and when I tell a joke or if I say something ridiculous, I can actually see if it's paying off.
Yeah.
In theaters, you really can't get a gauge on. I feel like.
Well, I'm sure it's probably similar to like if you beat somebody's ass in an octagon, but then you also beat somebody's ass in an elevator. When you come out of the elevator, you kind of like, what cologne they wore. And that's kind of taking a page out of your book. That sounds like something he would say.
That's good.
So
Theo Vaughn with the great metaphors.
All right, what was the craziest off-camera real-world road rules experience?
I don't remember. It's so long ago. I don't really remember. The craziest, I think it was still the craziest off camera was the craziest on camera, and that was they put dead animal carcasses in a wood chipper and shot the remnants about 70 yards, and we had to catch it in a helmet on our head. Jesus. And it was gnarly, and this was in some other country. This might have been in Africa, and I still remember seeing a girl catch a ribeye off the cheek, and I don't think she's been the same. I really don't.
Nasty. Hey, do you ever get annoyed if people ask you MTV questions?
You know what? Nobody asks me them anymore, honestly. So I've come to a point now where it's kind of like it's cool. Yeah, it's okay.
You've rehashed it.
Yeah, it's kind of come full circle.
Because I used to.
Did you audition?
No.
Yeah.
No. I used to I wouldn't say recently, but I would get annoyed when people would bring up fighting questions all the time to me.
Right.
But then now I actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it used to drive me nuts.
Well, now you're a legit stand-up comic. So that road rules thing is such ancient history.
Yeah, it's such ancient history.
It was just
And
a
the problem is
chapter
it's still like a scarlet letter in a sense, but you're such a legit stand-up, and so it was something you do when you were 19, 20.
Yeah, you just don't know if
literally-
the industry will ever recognize it that way, and so
that's the
sometimes,
problem.
But that's but that's like you say. I mean,
They
that's
will,
out of
though.
my control. I just have to recognize what I'm doing.
Name it. What's the special again?
It's called No Offense. It's on Netflix, and it's just Theo Von.
Yeah.
VON.
It's
You can
also
check
we
it out.
also blasted today on our Instagram.
It's cool.
and
I
Twitter.
appreciate it. Yeah,
But
I'll share it.
Yeah,
out there.
it's weird when you're known for one thing. Like I remember when I was on the Ultimate Fighter, they had 4 professional football players on there, right? And I played professional football for a little bit. Had a cup of coffee in Buffalo, but they wanted to market it as former professional football player, and I told them like, dude, I'm not doing the show if that's all you're gonna talk about.
Yeah.
Call me a fighter, man.
Yeah.
If you don't start calling me a fighter, I'm not gonna do this.
Yeah.
And so they would do it for the other 3, and then me, they wouldn't say it anymore.
Yeah.
It used to drive me. I was like, you know how hard I work to be a fucking fighter.
That's the
And
thing.
you keep saying football player turned fight. No, bitch.
Yeah.
No, man.
Yeah, that's
I've been
graduating.
I've been grinding
I've
for 4
graduated.
years to get here. You're gonna acknowledge me as a fighter, otherwise I'm not doing the show.
great point.
And so they took it out. And they market the other 3 guys as football players.
Yeah, good
and when
for
I
you,
do
man.
interviews, they do football. Like, ask something about fighting. What do you want to talk about fighting? They knew not to ask me about football.
Great.
Yeah, and it also depends on the environment. If it's a comfortable environment where I feel safe and
True.
stuff, it's okay to talk about it, kind of, because you feel like the energy is from a good place. Whereas somebody's not trying to damn you, or they're trying to get negative about it.
Or like a backhanded comment.
Yeah.
I hate that shit.
But I still I'll go up on stage against anybody in the world. I go back to back with them. I go on the same time on the same stage.
Damn, you don't fuck around. You'll
I
duel it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say I'll win against some of them, but
You'll
I'll
hold your
fucking-
own.
confident.
I will
Beast,
go up
man.
there.
You'll hold your own.
do
I know
my
for
work.
a fact you'll
Yeah.
hold your own with anybody.
I
in
will
the
do
world.
my work. It could be against anybody, but I feel you, man. I feel you on some of those things. It's hard to get people to. But I mean, I've spent 13 years on the road doing comedy, man. I mean, I remember hanging my groceries out of the window at night, so they would, because we didn't have a refrigerator in the room, just little things. They would freeze, and you pull them in the morning, they thaw out, and then you'd fucking make lunch,
That's pretty gangster.
and then you'd hang them out again at night.
By the way,
you know?
13 years on the road, motherfuckers.
Jesus
and that's
Christ.
real road.
That's
and that's
real
like
road.
that's like every week.
That's the real road.
That's why
bitch.
he's so good.
Yeah, that's the real road rules
That's
right
13.
there, man.
That's your black belt in fucking comedy. 13
True
years. You
that.
do anything 13
Grinding.
years every day.
Yeah, that's a
which
good
he
point.
did. Which he did. That road schedule is a motherfucker.
The first
man.
7 years, you might not be
I
good
can't
at it.
I'm not,
Bro,
not for me.
Best
Not for
Western,
me.
you stayed
My
in the
first
Best Western
stand-up,
in Kansas?
600 people sold out.
That's true. This
Don't know what to tell you,
motherfucker-
Theo.
This motherfucker.
And then Brian goes, bro, we sold out Irvine. I'm like, well, what else would we do? He goes, no, you
I was
stupid
like, hey,
fuck.
you fuck. It's
On
a Wednesday
You know
night.
how hard it is for comics.
It's
to
a
fucking-
Wednesday
I have
night.
no
This
idea.
motherfucker's walking out there to a full house and they're all screaming, knowing his name. I'm like, fuck
I
you.
have no idea. I just got
You
pushed
earned it.
into that.
You know what though? You earned it. You did your time in the fucking
Both
UFC.
you guys have, man.
know
You guys
about
have put your different squared circles, but you
I'll
put
be
your
telling
time
jokes
in.
on Shadow Box.
Shout out.
Damn it.
Well, let's wrap
Jiu-Jitsu
this.
seminar. Dude, come on. I'm trying to throw some jokes in.
Do the Ric Flair. I used to love to watch you
Do the
wrestle.
people's elbow.
I used to love to watch you wrestle.
I used to
Theo Von,
love to watch you
Theo Von, I
wrestle.
think we're going to call it a day. Want to thank you for coming out.
Dude, you're the best, man.
That was
Go
great.
watch his Netflix special right now on Netflix. He's a beast, man. One of the best in the business.
doubt.
Yeah, it's called No Offense. And is this on today?
Yeah,
Tomorrow.
Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, I'll be in Chattanooga, Tennessee all weekend, if I can say that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Whatever
At the Comedy
dates you got,
Catch.
man.
At the Comedy Catch?
At the Comedy Catch,
Where
man.
do
We'll
they get
see.
tickets?
I think just comedycatch.com. I don't even know if the place has a website. I mean,
Chattanooga.
it's Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yeah, you'll figure
You
it
know,
out.
so, and
And
if
then
there are
where
any
can they
slaves there, I'm going to free you. I'm coming. And
Where can they find you on Instagram, Twitter?
just at Theo Von, TheoVon, and I'll blast out stuff from here. And then I'm in Sunnyvale, California next weekend at the Rooster T. Feathers.
it's a good club.
I'm in
I love that
Tempe
club.
at the Tempe Improv next month, and Atlanta coming up. But
My road schedule is tfatk.com. So don't worry about that. Where are we going to be,
kids,
Brendan?
we're in April. We're in Oklahoma on the 23rd at some casino out there. Then the-
Calusa Casino.
Yes,
ooh, you guys are in some
casino.
cool spots
And
coming
then,
up.
Yeah, we don't play
Midwest
around.
tour starts in Minneapolis. That's April 28th. Madison, Wisconsin, the 29th. And then Chicago, the 30th. Chicago is almost sold out, so definitely get your tickets for that.
Where do they get their tickets? What
tfatk.com. And then in May, again, we're in Sacramento at another casino. We're at the
May 6th.
Nashville Comedy Tour. That's May 17th. We're in New York City on the 19th, which is sold out. We're in Boston. That's a theater. Let's sell that bitch out on the 20th. And then we're in Philadelphia on the 21st.
Wow.
There's a
Great
rumor. There's a
cities.
rumor they might add a second show in New York, but we say nah.
We'll see.
We'll see what
Let's
happens.
see. Let's sell Boston now. We sell Boston now. That's another fucking level. That's a giant theater, and Rogan's there before. It's selling out.
Ooh,
already.
the Wilbur. Theo Von, ladies
Theo
and
Von,
gentlemen.
everyone. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank
This
you, guys.
is The Fire and the Kid. We're out.